Hey guys, what's up? It's Andy, and I've got another commentary for you, but this is kind of a special commentary because it is the first in the first of series. This is my first series, and this is the first video of that series, and this one is about movies. I don't have a name for it yet, so if anybody has a name, let me know. Leave it in the comment. And if you know me, tell me, because I need a name, and I'm going to tell you what it's about. It's about movies. I already told you that. Anyway, it's about movies. And what I'm going to do is, this is kind of inspired by a guy named CD Mangeka. I've brought him up on my channel before. He's a small channel. He's got a small channel and he plays on the PS3, but he's absolutely beast at the game. He started, I think, in Black Ops. He didn't have any Modern Warfare 2 videos, but he's absolutely phenomenal. He usually runs with a party, and he's got a series where he does. He talks about music, and he listens to an entire soundtrack. And he talks about his thoughts on the music, his personal opinions. He doesn't rate them on their quality, but just gives his personal opinion. And that's what I'm kind of going to do with movies. I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm open for suggestions, but obviously this being the first one, I'm going to talk about the Immortals, actually. It's a new movie about the Greek legend. We'll talk more about it later. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to talk about these, and I'm just going to offer my opinions. I'm not a movie genius. I'm going to tell everybody that right now. I'm going to get that out of the way. But at the same time, I have usually some pretty different ideas about movies. I find myself disagreeing a lot with the people I watch them with about what we think about a movie. And typically, I agree with RottenTomatoes.com. So, and I know that's weird. I know a lot of people usually disagree with that website. And I don't want to say that, you know, I don't want to suggest that I know everything about movies. You got a quad with that, or more. Jeez. But, I don't want to suggest that because I'm really not. I think it's just coincidence that I agree with the critics. It's not because I know anything about movies. So yeah, let's talk about this. The movie is The Immortals, and if you don't know about it, I don't really want to talk about plot much in these videos. I don't want to tell you what happens, but I just want to review kind of the movie. The premise is that there's this slave, and his village comes under attack of this evil warlord, basically, who's looking for a magical bow, and like a bow and arrow. And so his village evacuates, but he has to stay because he's a slave. And it turns out that it's his responsibility to take down this evil warlord and this huge army he's amassed and save, you know, all these citizens. And the gods are involved in this movie, but they're not allowed to help the humans unless the Titans are released. And the whole point of this guy getting the bow, the evil guy getting the bow, is so he can release the Titans. But the gods can't help until that happens. So there's this huge army trying to destroy all these innocent people, and it's his job to save them. And so that's what it's about. And the plot is... it's interesting. It's an interesting plot. It's easy to follow. It was engaging. There were the right amount of battle scenes. It was kind of a manly movie. The emotional parts aren't very engaging, I guess you could say. They were obviously existent, but they weren't like tearjerkers or anything. And there were quite a few battle scenes, and they were pretty cool. The battles themselves were about what you would expect from a high-action movie that's made for men, right? But I will say that they're pretty unrealistic. Although, you know, I wasn't alive when people were doing hand-to-hand combat back in the Greek days, so I can't really tell you if it's realistic or not, I guess. But it seemed like it was really exaggerated. You know, one guy taking on 500 and just, you know, kicking their ass. And I'm not actually familiar with the actual Greek tale, but from what I've heard, it's semi-accurate and semi-not. There are clear things left out, and I mean, I guess that's expected, right? Because it's a movie, and what do you do? So if this is like your favorite Greek, you know, legend, you're probably going to be disappointed with the plot a little bit. But if you're just looking for entertainment and something that does reference the Greek culture and is semi-accurate, it's going to do a fine job. From what I hear, it does about as good as a movie should do as far as the actual staying true to the story. And the end, I'm not going to give away the ending. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, except I am going to tell you that the ending was, in my opinion, stupid. And I think that there's a lot of really stupid endings to a lot of movies. You're going to hear that a lot in this series, is that I think the ending is stupid of whatever movie, because I feel like they take, these movies develop such intricate plots, and then the way they get out of the plot and solve the problem or whatever is always just so stupid. It's like having a huge nightmare, and all this is going wrong, and blah, 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 and then you wake up, and that's the end of the movie. It was all just a dream. How stupid is that, right? Or something really ridiculous happens that ends up resolving the issue, the conflict, and that's kind of what happens in this movie. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it's kind of ridiculous and stupid. As far as the acting goes, it was fine. These guys are oblivious, but the acting was it was alright. There were a couple scenes in which I was like, really, that's how you decided to do this? But overall, it was okay. That's really all I can say about it. I don't want to drag on it too much, because most of the movie it was fine, and then parts of the movie I was like, this is really the acting that we're gonna get out of this huge budgeted film. But so that's where that was. And then I want to talk about the effects. Effects are huge in this movie. There's with the gods, and how they're supposed to be different than the humans, and they can fly. Well, they don't really fly. I don't actually see them fly, but you see them like teleport and like jump from the mountains, get down to earth. And then there's this magical bow that shoots, like, it doesn't have any arrows, but when you pull back on the string, an arrow appears, and then you can fire this magical arrow. There is a huge scene where there's like they're on the ocean, and a huge wave comes, and it was created by Poseidon and knocks over this boat. And there are several scenes that require effects, and they were done very poorly. That's really all I have to say about it. They were very poor. We were talking about going to see this movie or another one that had actually been out for a lot longer, and we decided to go see this one, and we watched the preview of both, right? And about halfway through the preview, I was like, is this a comedy? Because that's really what it looked like. The preview was very serious, and the movie is very serious. It's not supposed to be funny at all. But from watching the preview and seeing some of the effects, I thought maybe that it was supposed to be a comedy, and that the trailer was serious, but the actual movie was supposed to be a comedy, and that was not the case. But that is kind of an indicator about how bad those effects were, because they were pitiful. Some of them were a joke. I laughed literally out loud sometimes, and they could have done 100% better job with the effects. It's pretty embarrassing for them, I think. Overall, the movie was entertaining. I'm not going to call it a good movie though. It was entertaining. I would not buy it at all. I wouldn't even rent it. I would only watch it if I was at somebody else's house, and for whatever reason they wanted to watch it. And that's really all I have to say for it. So yeah, guys, just leave me a comment or something. Tell me if you want to hear about a movie, my thoughts on it. And next time I do a video, I will let you know. Thanks. Alright, that was today's video. If you want to see the last video, it's actually a really cool one. It's my roommate and my best friend were singing 3 Cheers for 5 years, and we just ran through it once, and this is what happened. So click on it and watch, and if you want to subscribe, please do that. I'll have more videos soon. Thanks, guys.